Hi, Romy.
Okay, we ready, Tammy?
You're tight.
Just give me 1 second. You're now live.
Good evening, folks. Thank you for joining us again. I, like everyone else, I'm looking forward to actually holding a meeting live at some point in our lives, but apparently for the foreseeable future, we'll be doing this electronically. And truthfully, we're kind of lucky that we're able to do it this way, because otherwise we wouldn't be doing it at all. So we have a fairly action-packed evening with discussions with regard to the website, budget, and all of our various subcommittees. So let's get started if we could. I don't think there's anyone new. Everybody knows everybody. I think they've at least been to one meeting. So Karen, if I could ask you to give us, we might as well start with your update on the partnership website.
Yeah, so I can kind of pull that up right now. Yeah, so the website is pretty much complete. There's one or two small things that I just need to quickly add. Other than that, I've just been working with John, and we're essentially trying to get the city to approve the website so that it can be uploaded, and we'll essentially set up hopefully a system so that if we do want to make changes in the future, we kind of have like essentially deadlines that you have to have stuff in by, or an easy way to kind of process things and change them. So that's kind of what we're doing right now, and just essentially trying to get this up onto the actual thing. But in terms of content, pretty much everything is up. It's been bug tested already. So it should work quite well. Yeah, a lot of the images have been like optimized and stuff like that, so it actually runs pretty smoothly. And there hopefully isn't any bugs. If you do find any, please do let me know, just because we are just about to essentially send it off and have this uploaded. Yeah.
Karen, very quick question. I sent you an email earlier today. You were probably at school, but you did receive it with regard to the edits necessary to the Eras page?
Yeah, so that'll be done within the next few days.
Thank you very much. I know that our contact Ed Base Borden spent some time doing that, and I just wanted him to know that that's going to be taking place. So I'm assuming that everybody has seen the most recent version of this. Does anyone have any questions of Kieran? I mean, I know that he's quite prepared to walk you through it all, but he's already done that before, and you've all had a chance to take a look at it, and you've all walked through to this point. Do any of you that serve on the committee have any questions at this point? Not seeing any, then I'm going to pass it to John for his comments at this point. John, where do you think we're at? We're good?
Yeah, so where we're at is Karen did send me the link last week, as he did to everyone else. And I have forwarded off the email to our accessibility person, Cheryl Dillon, if Tammy's wondering. And Tammy and Cheryl has received it, and she will review the site. She is quite swamped now, but she did thank me for sending her the link, and she will be reviewing the site, and will be coming back with a response with regards to how our assessment goes with the site. That said, I'm assuming that there might be some minor changes. I don't know, like it's never perfect, but I'm assuming she'll come back with some changes, and then we'll just get Karen to fix them up. And then next steps from there would be that Karen would just send me the files that we need to upload to our server so that we can host it on the city's servers. And once we get that done, then we'll still have to come up with a name of what you want to use for the URL for the website. I know that in the last meeting we talked about what we're going to use for the URL. We're definitely going to support the existing one, which I believe is youthambassadors.barrie.ca. We'll continue to support that, but if there's any other URLs that you want to make work, then we can certainly point that to the same website. So I would expect that realistically, I think Cheryl's probably going to get back to us within the next week or two. I know she's really busy with other work, but if she gets back to us in a couple of weeks, I only probably need a day or two to get the site uploaded and configured and set up. And then obviously Karen's going to have to package it up for me to send me the files. But once we have all that, I could see this being done by the end of the month and live, but that's just kind of what I'm thinking. But we'll wait to hear back from Cheryl to see what she says.
That's perfect, John. I think one of the things I'm thinking is that we want to actually do a launch to this, not just pop it up live, but do a bit of a launch with media and council and all the rest of that routine sort of early in January. Start the new year off strong at that point. I should also tell everyone that I sent the latest version of the web that Kieran had sent to all of us. I sent it off to members of council and to the mayor, and I can tell you that the response from, you never hear back from everybody. Everybody's busy. They're running lives. They're doing whatever they're doing. The mayor thinks it's fantastic and asked me to pass on his appreciation and congratulations to Kieran and the rest of the people involved in it. And we also heard positively from 4 members of council, councilors. I'm going to screw this up. Councilors Morales, I'm going to mess up her last name. Kunkel, Harvey, and Harris all got back to me, and obviously Barry's been involved all along. So we're getting some good feedback. It seems really positive throughout this. So that's where we're at. If no one has any questions, I did want to point out one thing just before I let Karen and John go, if they choose to, is that you may not have scrolled all the way down to the bottom of your particular subcommittee's page or different partnership page. Please understand that in the black thing at the board at the bottom, I don't have the right terminology for any of this stuff because I'm just not that right. The footer, thank you. The contact include myself and Mark on all of them as chair and vice chair, but there's also one for the chair of that particular group, whether it's Jeff Toole for Global Perspectives, or whether it's Bill Sargent for Harrogate, and your emails are there. And I just want to make sure that before we do all this and go public with it all, that in case you missed it, I just want to make sure no one's upset about that. You're all okay. And obviously when the chairs change, then the contact would change. Everything. I'm just trying to dot every I and cross every T so we don't have to go back with what I consider to be very minor things later because someone forgot to ask. So I see everybody that would be at the bottom of those things basically in attendance here, and Jeff is aware of that. I mean, Jamie's here, but Jeff is aware of it as well. So I don't anticipate any problem with that. So seeing none and seeing no other questions, Kieran, you're welcome to stay, but I know you're either just out of and therefore deserve to relax, or still in the middle of midterms, in which case you should be studying. So thank you for everything. You and I can talk tomorrow about some of these final details, because I'm assuming you haven't said anything. So I'm assuming everything John said made sense to you.
Yeah, so actually my screen kind of froze out for a bit, but what I did hear from John about the AODA and everything after that should be good. If anyone does have any more questions or any like very last minute changes, please do forward them straight to me, just so I can deal with them. Like now is kind of the last possible time before. But yeah, other than that, I don't think I have anything else to say.
I think you're good, Kieran. All right. I think people will have dealt with it already. They've had an opportunity to edit. It's been re-edited by someone that didn't help create it from within their own committee. But I do appreciate your willingness to go the extra mile. So feel free to leave us to the rest of our meeting if you choose. Thank you once again on behalf of everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Mr. Chair, if I can just interrupt,
Hey, guys.
Rob Warman is on the phone and he's attending the meeting, doing it
Perfect.
that way. So,
Thanks, Bill.
okay.
So
Dave, if I can.
just one
Thank you.
second.
Yep.
John, did you have your hand up with something to do, or are you just waving to people?
No, I was just gonna wave, and I don't know if I have to be here anymore, but for the rest of the meeting, but I just want to say that no, everything looks great, and I'll be in touch with Karen to make sure that we get the files and we get it uploaded, and we'll be in touch. But everything looks good so far, so I don't see any
Perfect.
problems. Okay.
All right. Thanks a lot, John. I appreciate everything you've provided, the leadership throughout this for Kieran and for all of us. You're great. Thank you very
No
much.
problem. Take care. Yeah, take
All
care.
Talk
Bye-bye.
soon.
Yeah.
Bye. Okay, Mark.
Okay, I would like to make a motion if I can, that Kieran Biles Ho be paid the remaining $1,500 for his services once the following 2 conditions are met. 1, that the accessibility provisions have been approved. And 2, that the appropriate files have been submitted to John Mastroeni, City of Barrie IT.
Seconder. Jamie Babcock. Let me explain what that is for just a second. It's just a last minute provision. I mean, I'm a little worried about how infrequently we meet and making sure that everybody, that the payment schedule is in place prior to the end of this budget year. And those are two pretty major things. I mean, let's assume that John is right and that Kieran's done it the right way and that everything is as easygoing as we presume it to be at this point. If all of a sudden there's a huge crisis with the accessibility people, and there's major work having to come forward in terms of labeling every single picture that's in the thing, or if there's some huge problem with files being transferred, I simply want to ensure that, and I don't think this would ever happen, it's just me being ridiculously cautious, but I think it's good to have those provisions in there so that there's still that $1,500 sort of Damocles hanging over Kieran. I mean, he didn't even want to be paid, so I'm sure it wouldn't be a problem, but I still want to make sure that it's done and we pay him at the end of a completed job that's been completed to our satisfaction. That's kind of the way the world works, or should work, and he should learn that early on.
Yeah.
So that's why Mark and I talked about it and we worded it the way we did. John is aware of that and has made it clear to me that he will inform me as soon as those two criteria are met. And then Tammy, I'll communicate with you immediately, assuming this passes, and I'm not saying it will, but assuming it does, the structure would be, John will tell me, I will then communicate with you that it's time to work whatever magic needs to be worked in Treasury to get him a check. Does that make sense? Tammy, you're talking without the thing on.
That's so 2020. Dave, so if you can send me an email, because finance, like the last time, they need some paperwork to, because we don't have an invoice or anything, that they need in emails from you and Mark saying that this is what's going on. So when that's done, if you can
So,
guys
but
just send me an email.
Yeah, so it's just the two that you require, right?
Yeah. Just
Right,
saying
so
that this is
so we've
what's
approved an
happening.
amount, and now we're simply saying it's okay to now pay that amount, correct?
Yeah,
Kind
exactly.
of exactly like what I do with youth ambassadors all the time.
Yeah. If
Okay.
you could do that, that'd be wonderful.
Sure. So Mark, I'll be in touch with you once.
Yeah,
John-
we can reference the last email, even date, and then it'll.
All
Yeah.
right. Any questions from anyone about this particular motion? Seeing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Carried unanimously. All right. But budgets, I believe budget's up next.
You're correct.
So Tammy has provided me with two that have already been paid. Did you send that to everybody or just me, Tammy? It was just me.
No, I just sent it to you because I figured you'd want to do or I can do the update if you
Oh, no,
want.
you're fine. It's just that the two involve the expenditure for the bench in the military park, just under $5,000.
Yeah.
4,700 and some odd. And that's already out of the account. And there's the
That's
first
right.
$1,500 to Kieran.
That's right.
So the remaining amount is, Tammy has it in front of her. I don't.
$13,754 left.
Now, as we say that, there's a couple other expenditures that we had talked about. I just want to make sure, and I know this may be repetitive to some of you, but once again, I'm just trying to nail things down. Bill, we have expected expenditures for the banners that will be in this budget year, correct?
Yes, that is correct. It'll be about 1,800, not to exceed $1,800.
Okay, Tammy, my assumption is that because we already have a motion passed that says up to that amount, all you would need is the
Invoice.
two approvals, one from Bill, one from me, or from Mark, or whomever, correct?
And the invoice, yeah, or whatever.
Okay, now, since it's the city department doing it, this would just be a department to department transfer. How are we getting?
Oh,
an
okay,
invoice
yeah, that's
from
fine. They'll
Sherry?
probably, they'll just probably ask us for the GL number to
Fine.
pay that.
And are you okay with that? Like, do we?
Oh,
need
yeah,
to do-
yeah. Yeah, I just need to be notified and I can provide them with the GL number. That's no problem.
All right, perfect. Bill, if you're talking to Sherry, remind her that that's the way we think we're going.
Okay, will do. Thanks.
That's the GL number.
And then you'll
Um,
have $1,500 for Kieran come out as well.
Right, so that's,
balance.
so now we're at 3,300 in addition, so that brings us down just under 10. Jean-Maurice, and I know this is an unfair question to you, but was there some thought of paying some of those airfares for the official part of that delegation to Zweibrücken in advance or not? I'm not upset if it's not, I'm just trying to figure out what budget we've got.
That we hadn't gotten that far, but Rob may have some comments about that. He may have already taken that into consideration. So I'll defer to Rob.
Okay,
Rob, did you hear that?
No,
Okay, has there been consideration with respect to paying some of the airfares for going to Zweibrücken next year out of this year's budget?
oh, I have no objections to that.
All right, is it going to happen?
We were able to pay for the bench.
Yeah,
at this point, I don't know whether you can hear me, Rob, but at this point, none of that has been considered though, correct? Bill, you're gonna have to.
did you hear that, Rob?
No, I'm sorry, Bill.
Okay, basically Dave says, have you had any consideration of paying for the airfares in advance of the end of this year for next May?
Up till now.
Yeah, up till now.
No, but it's something we can explore.
Okay, no,
Okay.
but it's something we can explore.
Thank you. Jean-Maurice?
Just to add to that, we have the official dates, and I can add. I'm stealing Rob's thunder here, but the letter from the city of Zweibrücken from the Lord Mayor is on its way with the dates that they have set for the official visit in May. So given that we have those dates, we're equipped to approach the travel agent and shop for some prices on the airfare.
Okay, so Tammy, I think I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask it anyways, and you can roll your eyes. I probably won't see you do that. Once December 31st is gone, the money is gone, right? We can't tab money to be held over
Is
for
that
any
better?
specific purpose, correct?
No. And your reserve account's maxed out.
Don't even get me started on that.
It has been topped up to the full amount.
Yeah, thank you for reminding me. All right, but we're fine on that end for the time being. So we'll just move ahead. Jean-Maurice and Rob, we can talk about that, and if it's possible, we can do something. Can I suggest is there anything else outstanding with any of the other committees? Costs for anything that we should be doing or could be doing between now and December 31st? I know I've asked this question at every meeting for the last 6 months, but I just don't want to steal anybody else's money. Is everybody good for the moment? Then Tammy, how does this sound? Just so that we can work on the fly very quickly down the road. How about if we pass a motion, because you've got the numbers, you've subtracted everything. Can we just pass a motion that says that we can spend up to $10,000 for plane tickets or transportation costs for the Zweibrücken exchange? And then the actual number would come back through receipts from whatever travel agent. And that way, Jean-Maurice or Rob and I or whomever could simply get the two people we need to do the final approval. Does that make sense?
Well, it's your
know what-
budget, so you
Pardon?
can approve an expenditure, but you will need the invoices before the end of the year.
Right. No, I understand that, but it means we don't have to pull everybody back together to pass the overall expenditure motion,
No.
right? Okay, so Jean-Maurice, can I have you put on a motion that we that we approve the expenditure of not more than $10,000? Does that number correct, Tammy, or should I say 9,000?
Say 9.
9,000, no more than $9,000 on transportation expenses by the end of 2021. Does that sound good, Jean-Maurice?
I so move.
Rob Warman will second it.
All right, perfect. Any question about it? We all know what we're trying to do here?
Yep.
Okay, all in favor? Any
Say aye,
opposed?
Rob.
All right, we're good.
Good.
Perfect.
All right. Tammy, what else? And I'm assuming our budget for next year is what it was in the past,
We won't know officially until the budget has gone through.
but what's been submitted?
Sorry?
What has been
It's the pre-pandemic amount.
about 37,000 or something?
I think that was my understanding.
All right,
So,
good. No,
but
that's good. Thank you very
We
much.
won't know until after the budget has been passed, adopted or whatever.
Oh, cool. Appreciate it. All right. So we're probably in pretty good shape. I've had mayors and members of council tell me that I should just take a deep breath and relax because nobody ever asks. So I get twitchy at this time of year and everybody thinks it's mildly funny because nobody but us actually knows what's going on with it. So we're all good. All right. So is there anything else about budget that we need to discuss, Tammy? Or are we good?
No, I think you're good.
All right, next up is, what's our order?
Japan.
Japan.
So really no report, nothing will happen till the new year.
And something else that I wanted to add to that is that as they replace Daniel and do whatever,
Right.
we're not sure if anything's going to happen in 2022. The last communication we had was that they were hesitant about where they were at this point in time.
Yep.
So until we hear otherwise, and we'll stay in communication with them.
Yep.
Have you heard anything different, Mark or Hiromi?
No, they basically just said, they're deferring. There's a lot of change happening at City Hall, and just we'll connect in the new year.
Okay, anything new, Hiromi?
Well, I don't think the border will be open next year in Japan
No.
for tourists. So I don't think anything is going to happen next year.
Okay, and in
That's
fact,
what they keep telling me, but they said, but you never know.
all right.
Yeah, never know. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you know.
So, all right, so that's
Yeah.
pretty much where we're going to be.
Yeah,
What's
it's
next?
going to be a year. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, Tammy, next.
Youth ambassadors.
No update, but thank you, Maury and Kieran, for taking care of the website on my behalf.
Yeah, and it's the same type of thing. We have nothing to talk about because the two things that were outstanding was the Japan. We already know the answer to that, and the other one is the French, the exchange or the student interchange or exchange with Arras that Barry North was interested in, but we haven't proceeded on that. That won't happen until the spring of 23. Am I correct, Kathy?
Yes, that's correct. That's correct. I have spoken with two young teachers that are new to the French department. And I know for sure the one fella, Andy Osmond, is enthusiastic. And I believe the other one is interested, but we haven't had a chance to go into a lot of detail about it. But it does look like this is, that this could work.
Cool. Well, perhaps sometime in the next month or so, you and them and I can get together at some point and talk about what this will entail and all the rest of that, because I think there's some movement on Aras's part showing some interest in doing something. So
Okay, I'll let them know and we can set up a Zoom meeting or something then, eh?
Cool. Okay, next, Tammy,
Is there anything from Jamie?
Babcock Global, Jamie.
No report, status quo.
Okay. Next,
Harrogate. No, sorry, Germany.
Can you just see if Rob's in the waiting room there, Tammy?
No, I don't see him there.
Okay, because he says there's little things going around and around. He's put in his email and everything else, but nothing seems to happen, so. Otherwise, Rob, anything to report?
Nothing new. We're still working on the arrangements for the visit to and from Zweibrücken. So we'll have more information probably in the know in the December meeting, if we're going to have a December meeting.
okay, one quick question. We know the dates for the travel to Zweibrücken are the 4th to the 12th of May. Do we have dates as to when they're coming back here?
So when does Dave want to introduce his suggestion for visitation?
I'm sorry, pardon?
When's the dates for the suggested visitation back here, Jean-Maurice?
No, to
So-
Who's that, to?
Zweibrücken from here.
Well, that was the 4th to the,
Dave was suggesting they might try to get a delegation to go from Barrie to Zweibrücken along
Rob-
with the official delegation.
Okay, Rob, Bill, he can't hear me. My point is, we're not there yet to start with,
Yeah.
but the other part is, we've talked about a delegation coming from Zweibrücken to Barrie. Do we know when that is? Jean-Maurice has his hand up.
Yeah.
Jean-Maurice?
Yeah, the dates for the Zweibrücken visit to Barrie are from the 4th to the 11th of September.
September. Okay, cool. All right. So that's lots of time to set that up.
September for Zweibrücken here.
Okay. So it would now, and by the way, Bill, just tell Rob that if he can't hear me, I'm now about to outline everything to him, to the committee that I spoke to him about earlier today. All right, just so he knows. So folks, I've had a conversation with Rob, Jean-Maurice, Bill, and Mark about an idea I had. And one of the things that I didn't catch at the last meeting, maybe you guys did, maybe it wasn't said, is that the number that we were told was 6, and that's the official delegation. Like that's the ones that we're going to be paying for, the mayor and his girlfriend and whomever else is going as the official party. But along with them are a number of other people that will be going, and also a separate tourist group that's going. And I know that Bunty, who's not with us this evening, unless she's, anyway, I don't see her on the list here. Bunty is doing some work along with Jean-Maurice and Rob, and the idea of getting some King Eddie Choir people may be interested in going, and what those numbers are. And my thought was, since we're already sending a tourist group, I had a thought of expanding it in what I'm hoping is an interesting way. That bus is going to have 55 people, so we should look at it and say, all right, so by the time you include some Germans and some official delegation, we've probably got 40 seats on that bus that we could sell to people. The tourist group is all paying their own way. So this is still in the planning stages, and I'll shorten this down to the base routes, and then we can talk about it, or you can at least know about it. My thought is, and I'm willing to do the work along with Jean-Maurice and his group, the Robs and Bunties. The idea would be that we would go to Zweibrücken for that week, and participate in all the activities that are being planned there. And then at that point, some people might choose to go home. All right. I mean, I'm not going to force people to stay longer, but the plane ticket's the same price, whether you're going for 2 weeks or for 1 week. Stay for a second week and either go to Arras and visit Vimy Ridge and maybe over to Juno Beach or whatever in around there. And I had originally thought that we would then add a few more days and go to Harrogate as well. So that my whole thought was that was 2 things. Number one, we'd be starting this hopefully post-COVID time with making a fairly significant statement about we're back and we're intrigued and this is what we're interested in. However, as Bill wisely pointed out to me, Britain's in a different situation. They seem to be on wave 32. They just drag themselves out and then they fall back into it. And he's fairly confident that we'd have great trouble accessing it in a position where we could sell. I mean, COVID could cause all of this to fall apart, a week Tuesday, but at some point we have to start planning our lives again. And so even if we do Zweibrücken and Arras, Bill's convinced me that no one would be offended if we didn't do Harrogate, because from the British perspective, we're not in their neighborhood. To me, in Canada, we are, because it's kind of like just a hop across the channel. But from their perspective, if you're 100 kilometers away, let alone on the continent, you're on a whole different world. So the idea is now to basically do 2 stops. And in terms of who we would invite, I thought what we might do is put our heads together with different organizations that might be interested in eventually running under our auspices involving their own exchanges. So for instance, I thought of things like send an information package out to the Barrie Minor Hockey Executive. And in that we would say, here's what we're doing. We'd invite you to bring X number of people and not only enjoy what is available at our sister cities, but also perhaps consider while you're there whether you could see yourselves participating in exchange. And if we send that out to Barrie Minor Soccer, Barrie Minor Baseball, we send it out to the Arts Society, we send it out to the service clubs. The service clubs all do these exchanges on their own anyways, but we've never actually approached them. If we do that kind of thing, then we might fill that bus with not only people that are going to go and represent us well and do a good job, but who might also come home and say, you know what, that was awesome. Work with us while we try and set something up on an exchange, an activity exchange, doing whatever. So that's the idea. I lay it out to you. I made sure that I spoke to people this afternoon because I didn't want to sandbag anybody. Generally, everyone's been very supportive of it. Conceptually, what do the rest of you think? Anybody want to say yay or nay? I mean, I'm not going to put a motion forward. It's all just information gathering at this stage. Any thoughts?
If I may, Dave, I love it. I
Yeah.
think, people will want to travel when it's safe again, but they'll be hesitant. And I think this would give them a nice comfort feel of supports from back home, connectivity, to their community. I really love it. Barry knows before COVID, we were trying to pull together some community work in Guatemala with that same sort of idea. I'd love to get more community members involved and going along to sort of broaden horizons and opportunities where people feel more safe and more connected to their community. I think it's a great idea, Dave.
Thank you very much. All right.
Can I just ask one favor, Tammy and Dave? Can I add one agenda item at the very end? I just had an idea I'd like to share with you at the end.
The answer is yes, but let's finish the rest of the agenda first.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Dave, is this is for next September?
No, this is for, they're coming here in September. This would be for May of 22, 6
May
months
of-
from now.
Okay. Okay, sorry, I had it backwards then. Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Anything else? Okay, and if any of you were interested in going, I know obviously many of you have work and can't get away, but if you did have an interest, simply let us know and we'd be more than happy to add you to the list and all that. So I don't hear any objections. I'm not seeing a whole lot of people except for the one that spoke jump up and down and joy. So, but I'm assuming no one has any objections if we pursue this. All right, cool.
Yeah,
All right, so we'll look forward to that, and we'll have more information for you in the future. And at this point, it allows Jean-Maurice, Rob, myself, Bill, it allows us a chance to look into some things. Okay. All right. What's next?
Harrogate.
Bill?
Nothing new to report.
Okay. That probably means we're now at Arras, correct?
Correct.
There's nothing new. I mean, I'm hopeful about a couple of things, but nothing's actually happening. Someone just sent me a thing that says they like the idea. This is Babcock being Babcock, all right? I get like texts from 4 people in the world and Jamie's one of them. So there we go. All right, so Arras, we're hopeful, but nothing particular. And what's left?
Sir Robert Barry. Project.
Nothing to report. Thank you.
Okay, actually, Bill.
Yeah.
Back on Harrogate, was it your intention to inform the committee about the change of the membership in the international partnership group over there, or not?
I hadn't really brought that one forward at this point. So
Okay, all right.
Okay, thanks.
I thought maybe you'd forgotten something. It's okay.
All right.
Moving on. After Robert Barry.
I have the 2022 committee meeting schedule. I just want to make sure this
All right.
time frame works.
Are we good with doing this the same first, whatever this is, the first Tuesday of every month? Same as it's been like forever?
I like it, yeah.
All right. I don't see anybody shaking their head. I'm of course getting a text from Jamie almost immediately on his view. At any rate, we're good. Do 22s the same way. Okay. I have a question on that though, sort of. We never meet officially in December because we unofficially get together for a drink. I'm not sure we're doing that this year, or I mean, certainly not that the city's going to approve or disapprove of it, but do you want to meet? And is there any reason to meet the first week of December? We have all the motions passed that are necessary to distribute money before the end of this budget year. I think that's what we just spent some time doing tonight. So we can expend that money with just 2 people. And by the way, provided you understand the process, it's either Mark or I as one, and the other one has to be whichever committee is actually expending the money, right? So Bill, with the banners, it would be you plus either Mark or I, okay? That type of thing. I think everybody knew that, but I'm being interrupted by Jamie giving me a text, so that's all good. So, oh, it's not Jamie. Oh, yes, it is. So, at any rate, so we'll stay with that. Do we want to have a meeting in December or not? How many would like to have a meeting? How many, John Maurice would like to have a meeting? How many of you would not like to have a meeting? How many of you don't care one way or the other? How many of you are alive? Fine, it would appear that we're going to have a meeting. All right, there was only one vote cast. I see another hand. Yes, sir.
We could have dinner together.
Well, so we can do that unofficially.
At our own expense, obviously. Yeah.
Actually, yes, you're right. But here's the problem we have, and Tammy gets all twitchy when we discuss this, but
okay.
technically and legally, all of our committee meetings have to be open to the public.
Ah,
So there has been some concern expressed in the past that if we get together, then we're running an illegal meeting unless it's open to the public.
okay.
So although that's a great idea and we have done it in the past,
Okay.
I'm not sure that, especially in the current climate, I'm not sure we want to do that. Did I express that accurately, Tammy?
Probably, yes.
At any rate, so let's just plan a regular Zoom meeting, and hopefully in 22 we can get together, and maybe go out for a drink after a meeting early in the new year, assuming we can. Is there any news, Tammy, as to when, if ever, we go back to having regular meetings in regular places as opposed to Zoom?
No, council has just started in the last couple of weeks, meeting in the council chambers and our EMT. But other than that, there's been no update on that. So at this point, we'll continue virtual for however long. I'm not sure.
Barry, I think I speak for everybody when I say it'd be really nice if we could get together. Nudge, nudge, hint, hint, wink, wink.
Council is meeting and we are 2 feet or 6 feet apart, 2 meters apart. We're not sitting at our seats at the council chambers. We're sitting
Seriously?
where staff was. Yes, that's all part of the rules. So it's impractical for this group to meet because we don't have a room big enough to sit around a table that big.
So those rules could stay in place even though we're all vaccinated? I mean, I understood vaccinated and masked. I didn't think that the social distancing still existed. I mean, I'm not fighting anybody. I just, okay.
Yeah, that's our rules at council. In fact, and staff, a lot of the staff are on Zoom. They're talking to us because they're not in the room with us.
I was going to say in Georgian, we're doing sort of flex. So some people are coming in and you got to let people know if you're coming in or not for the space. And then the others will just join online.
Okay.
It's rapidly changing. So it may be different by the time we meet in January.
Yeah, I hope so. My sense, not necessarily on this committee, but my sense, the public's at a point where those of us that have done things right need to be bonused in this process.
So let's meet at the Sadlin Center and have some kids on the ice, and then we can all get together and sit side by side. Right.
Yeah, you can go to a hockey game and sit. You have to wear our masks. But...
Enough. Okay. I believe, Leslie, you had something else. No, it's not. Is there anything else? Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, just sorry, I never thought of this to put on the agenda ahead of time, but I just thought some of you might be interested that this fall or this upcoming fall, Georgian will be participating in what's called a Wusk student refugee program. This is a one-of-a-kind sort of resettlement opportunities within higher education. This program supports over 150 refugee students a year across 100 Canadian university and colleges. And to date, there's been, 2,500 refugees from 39 countries that have continued their education in safe, supportive communities across Canada since the program began. Awesome. So Georgian has decided that we are going to take on this endeavor because obviously there's a growing need to support refugees with all the political and climate issues on hand in the world. And so we are in the middle of filling out our application, and as such, we are trying to identify volunteers. They've asked, as part of our agreement, that we look at 5 sort of pillars to support a refugee in the community: financial, social, self-reliance, health and well-being, academic. So I've been meeting with leaders across Georgian to look at leaders in those pillars, but those leaders will be asking for volunteers to help them within those categories of support for this student. It's starting next fall. And so, not to throw it on the table for this committee, but just sort of as an FYI, if anybody is interested in supporting a refugee student at Georgian over the starting next fall for the next year by sitting on a volunteer committee or has any ideas, because this is our first time around, more than happy to open the doors to, valued community members to take part in that initiative to support that endeavor.
I'd be happy to help, Leslie.
It's very interesting.
Sounds exciting. Great. Thank you for letting us know.
Yeah, thank you. I'll keep you updated once we fill out the application and I learn more. But I figured the hearts of this group might be interested in something like that.
Very cool.
So,
yeah.
Very cool. And sorry, I just want to say one more thing, Leslie. I don't know if you've reached out, but family, the Families Unite group in Barrie would be an amazing group to connect with that as well. There's a lot of
Right.
people that I've been speaking to lately that are looking for volunteer opportunities.
Excellent.
Okay.
Yeah, wonderful.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm ignorant. What's the Families Unite organization?
It started when COVID hit, and it was a community group that got together to help those who were needing support during the lockdown. So it started as like grocery runs and that kind of stuff. And it's escalated into a huge nonprofit group that is supporting our entire community. And our mayor has spoken very highly of this group right across Canada. So it's pretty powerful group.
Great.
That's really great information, actually, because we're about to welcome a very large cohort of international students. Lots of pent-up students, couldn't get here when they had their study permits approved because of COVID. So a lot of students will be arriving this winter, and that's wonderful news to know that there's that type of group on hand in the community for both newcomers and for local community members. Thank you.
Great. That's awesome. Anything else? Tammy, have I forgotten anything?
No, that is it.
Okay. Thank you very much, people. We'll see you in a month, if not before. Jean-Maurice and Bill, Rob, we'll talk in the near future about this idea I presented, and we'll go from there. All right. Take care, folks. Thank you for everything. All right. I appreciate it. Leslie, stay on for a second because I want to tell you about something that someone's doing to the Lions Club